again. It's so nice to be here with you at this wonderful conference. It's really huge. I'm really happy to be part of so many great activities happening here. And today I actually have three sessions in a row, which is like I would call it my new record. So there'll be 3 sessions in a row about Helidon, about different aspects of usage of Helidon. And I really hope you will enjoy this 3 hours with me with some breaks. So I will still keep it like separate material. So maybe some will join at any other moment. So there may be some overlapping materials. Well, just to let you know. Okay, sorry for that. Let us start. So our oracles really have to show this slide, but this will be short. But the idea is that everything changes fast. So if you take your business decisions, like always check again if everything is corresponding to what I said in this presentation. So my name is Dmitry. I'm part of the Helidon team. I'm writing code at Oracle. So feel free to write me email or tweet me on any questions you have. And about this talk or any other thing you find interesting. So as you probably saw, so we are now in this cloud track and cloud native track, I would say. And what is the main idea of running, main task of creating of software development, of modern software development this day, is that we need to create a microservice. Yes, so microservice architecture seems to be, the right choice for quite a big amount of tasks that we define. And writing microservice is an answer to most of the architectural questions of a modern time. And actually, whenever you start you want to write a microservice, what first comes to your mind? Okay, we'll just take a Spring Boot and write it. So that's actually what most people do, but there are a lot of actually buts in this. Why is it a good choice or not a good choice, or does it solve its problem or does not solve its problem? But one of the main ideas is that it's not standard. So that means that whenever you write your code, it will be specific to one framework. And this may sound a little bit like a vendor lock, or you're just stuck in this one framework, which can have like support, or maybe support may be discontinued. So that's why actually the community came to the idea of MicroProfile, which is an open source community specification for enterprise Java microservices. What does that mean? That means that a group of people, hosted under that Eclipse Foundation, with participants like Oracle, IBM, Red Hat, Priority, Try, Microsoft, and others, many others, have sat together and said, okay, we need something which is standard. It means that in terms of the standards, it should be like portable. And what does that mean? That means that whenever you write your code, and configuration, you can simply take this code from one vendor implementation of that standard and put it into other vendor implementation of that standard, and it should work out of the box. And that is what MicroProfile is about. So that means that many vendors sat together and said, we will define standards, and we will actually develop the standards with a very up-to-date fashion. That means we have a lot of releases per year, and sorry, and that means we will be really up-to-date and following the main trends and standards there. And you can find more information. There's a MicroProfile IO site, but still, what does that mean? Open source community specification for enterprise Java. Currently, you see on my screen, there are like 13 main specifications for enterprise Java microservices. What does that mean? Well, first of all, these are not implementations. These are APIs and specifications. So each vendor have to take it and implement it somehow. And these specifications, as you see, even from the names, are really specific to microservices world. That means that, yes, you may say that they overlap with Jakarta EE or Java EE, Jakarta EE, and you will be right. But many people say, okay, MicroProfile is yet another Jakarta EE, Java EE. Well, this is not right. That means that these specifications are created for microservices world. Like, for example, if you take a look at let's take the first one, which is fault tolerance, for example. That means that microservice is a pure representative of a distributed computing world. That means that every service can fail unpredictably. And to make, to deal with it, you have this fault tolerance. That means that you can retry the service, run again, make some circuit breakers over it. And this is specified in this fault tolerance specification. For example, you have to check whether your service is running or not, and you have this metrics. That means that you can, actually health check. Health, that means that you just check if it's running and ready to serve your request, or it's not ready to serve your request. For example, it's running, but it's not yet ready to serve your requests. And this is the main idea. So the same is for metrics. You can read all the telemetry information coming from your service. How does it perform? Where is it? And so on and so on. Open tracing, good example. Like, for example, your business request may consist of many calls, service calls, and you can trace how your request actually goes through all of the services. By the way, on my, I believe, third session today, I'll be talking about transactional microservices. That means that there, for example, several service form a transaction. How can you deal with it? So if you're interested in that, come into my third session today. Yes, next thing is documenting your API. So that's why I have API, and they are also there to describe your services so you can generate clients for that. And as I say, clients, we have this REST client specification. That means that we can not only, but provide services, but also consume services. That's why I have a standard client for that. And it all comes to security with job propagation. And the foundation of all of that is CDI, JOXRS, and JSON parsing technologies like PNB. Once again, these are specifications. That means that whenever you write code with them, it will be portable across everybody who supports corresponding version of MicroProfile. And as you see, these specifications, they actually they have their own speed of development. Some are version 2, some version 4. That means that they really conform to the world that we have right now. And this is actually why MicroProfile is definitely a good choice for enterprises, because then your migration, as is even the config is here. So even the configuration, not only code, but the configuration is portable, is migratable, I would say. And that means that it is a good choice for enterprises to think about this way of development in standards, which allows them a really good the ability to deal with situation. For example, one vendor is out of business, and you can easily migrate it to other vendor, for example, or another vendor has come, which provides massive performance upgrades, and you just take your code and put it there. You don't have to rewrite. So that one makes MicroProfile definitely a good idea to think about if you are creating microservices, to think this way. And actually, as I say, one of the vendors, and here actually I'm going to talk about one of the vendors, and it's Helidon, and I'm happy that actually I'm part of that team, and together in a really awesome team, we are developing a product which is one of those implementers of MicroProfile. And let's actually get acquainted with it a little bit. So we position ourselves as a Java framework for developing microservices, and you probably wonder why Helidon, because it means swallow in Greek. And as we are in cloud native, track of this conference, this is very a good representative because, like, this small birds fly in the clouds, and they are very fast maneuverable, and we enjoy the way they fly. And this is cool. So the name is chosen very wisely, I would say. And it fully represents the idea. Next thing is actually that it's open source on Apache 2.0 license. And it means that it's completely open source. It's one of the first Oracle products which was open sourced this way. So everything happens on our official not web page, but GitHub page under /Oracle/Helidon. There might be slight change that happens right now because we are moving to our new organization, which will be Helidon. So it will be really standalone. It will be really fully there in the GitHub. So once again, it's there. Everything happens there. You can easily submit a PR, submit an issue. That means we even have our community service. So that means that we really react very fast on any issues that comes. So we have assigned people on a duty, I would say, who care for that. So no matter you are enterprise or just a private person, so we really care about all the support very much. So just go there, submit an issue, and you will have a very good, very fast, I would say, response on how can we deal with that issue. So currently it's been on top of Netty. Currently, I say, because there's a big news happening right now, and I will tell about it later. But Netty means that we are fast and asynchronous underneath. And as I say, cloud native ready means that you have everything from those specifications I told you, supported out of the box. And we have one of the best class supporting Graal native image, but I'll tell about it a little bit later. And if you take a look at the numbers, so they're really, really small. So, and you can see that there are three metrics here, like for three, three metrics, but for three different types of build, Helidon. And here we are quite, sorry. Sorry, quite I would say innovative, because we are one of the first frameworks which uses not only GraalVM native image builds, not only standard JVM builds, but we also use this JLink image build. So we can create a custom image of your application with Helidon, and this custom image just throws away everything you don't need out of your JVM, making your code more secure, because there will be just no code that will be dead code and you can somehow execute it. It will be smaller, it will make it faster. So that makes this really, really unique in this market. And the numbers are so nice. So if I talk about Helidon, mostly I'm talking about these three layers which we have to deal with. So first of all, underneath is Netty, as I told you. Netty is fast, asynchronous, probably currently industrial leader in web frameworks for creating network applications with Java. And on top of it, we have built a layer called Helidon Reactive or Helidon SE, which I will talk in more details today, by the way. So I decided to make some focus on that because on my previous talk here at JCON, I was only talking about MicroProfile, but I will pay more attention to Reactive as well. And on top of this Helidon Reactive, so this set of libraries, or each caring for different aspects like tracing, fault tolerance, all of that stuff. We have built our implementation of Helidon MicroProfile. And actually, here you can see a little bit different. So Helidon is unique in the fact that it provides you two different programming models out of the box. So first one is Helidon SE, which is pure Java and reactive. So you write your code without any magic. It's extremely fast because once again, we usually say there's no magic like CDI. So it's just pure Java with only one annotation, which is override, I guess, used. So it comes from the language. But it's a little bit harder because you have to be reactive everywhere. I will focus on that a little bit later, but it's incredibly fast. And the other thing is Helidon MP. It exactly implements this MicroProfile specification I was talking about just a few minutes ago. So it provides a declarative style. It means that you just annotate your code and it simply works. So you have this MicroProfile specification implemented in it. So it's fast, and since it's based on Helidon SE, it's really fast and really productive. It has a very small footprint, and it has the magic. So it means it takes a lot of work for you with just few annotations. So it's a boot style, I would say, but it's based on MicroProfile specifications. Let's actually have a look at this Helidon MP. As I say, these are the specifications which are provided by MicroProfile. But if we take a look at the, the components which Helidon MP provides you out of the box, you got even more than usual. So you get everything which is from MicroProfile. You get a lot from Jakarta. So you have the CDI, of course, it stands on both specifications, the intersect there. But you got also WebSocket, persistence, transactions, annotations. There are several standalone specification, which is also under MicroProfile Foundation, but they are not in the main this 13 specification I showed you. And this is MicroProfile, GraphQL, L-array, reactive streams, and reactive messaging. And I'm going to talk about L-array, for example, in my third session. So if you're interested in that as a good example and how you can play with it, so come to this talk and we will see this usage of Helidon there. And another one is reactive streams and operating. I will talk about them later. But once again, you have more than MicroProfile, but you have full MicroProfile implementation. So choosing Helidon, you create like a constructor, like a Lego blocks. You create your applications there. And here I can say that we are one of the few, I would say the only one, that supports full CDI in native image. So we are using Weld underneath, which is a CDI implementation. And you can compile it to native image and you will enjoy massive performance boost in startup times in native image, something which is like, which GraalVM provides you, but you won't lose your CDI stuff. That means that some of the vendors provide only partial support for CDI for native, and we provide full support, and we are really, really proud of it, I would say. And now, with the release of Helidon 3, which happened like this August, we are now fully Jakartified. So we really move massively to the newest technology. By the way, we require Java 17 by default. So if you want to use Helidon 3, Java 17, which is LTS, you will have to move there because we really use a lot of the technologies, not technologies specification, not specification, but chips that came with Java 17. We really use them in the code to make it faster and to make it more secure and you to enjoy really something which is modern. So how would you actually start writing Helidon application? And we are happy that with the version 3 release, we have this actually new starter on our official website. So if you go to helidon.io, you just can use starter. Just to mention that there is a Helidon CLI application, which I was mentioning in my previous JCON talks, or hopefully you have seen them. If you haven't seen them, I guess they're on the internet right now. So there's some overlapping materials with this talk, but still, we mentioned this this Helidon CLI, and this Helidon CLI was updated with a new functionality that allows you to build or create your application, and not only for several archetypes like quick start database, but you can fully customize your application and make it work. So we actually now came to this part of the demo, which I wanted to show you. So if you don't mind, I will do it the very easy way. So we just go to helidon.io and create a push the starter. So Josh Long's usually say, the famous Josh Long, I think will be also in this conference, usually say his second favorite place in the internet is starter for Spring. My second place in the internet is starter for Helidon. And here you can just generate the project. And unlike other, it's like a wizard made. So you just say, but we want to make a Helidon MP application, and we can create a quick start, for example, or a custom application. Custom, that means we have additional steps. Like, for example, we want to parse with JSON-B. We want some of the observability features with MicroProfile, health checks, tracing, etc., etc. No, we don't want the application to be secure right now. We don't need fault tolerance, of course. And we may probably need some Docker support for GraalVM and JLink support image. Kubernetes support, where is Zano? Yes, so that will generate the manifest file, the YAML files. And if we need database support, you have big choice for them. It's a regular database. I will talk about another integration with MicroStream right after this talk. So I'll click next here, and I just push download, and it generates us this project. So it's very, very easy. So let us actually unzip it. And IDEA is my favorite KDE. You can use anything you want. I guess many of you prefer Eclipse, which is awesome, but IDEA is also cool. By the way, we have good tooling for IDEA. That means that if you take a look, there's a good support for Helidon. So even in the code, you see it recognizes this application as Helidon. And you see even there's a marking there. And well, in this case, we did not, in MicroProfile. So we have a greeting message. And you can easily go, for example, to properties to where it's used. So great tooling by the guy. So kudos to JetBrains for making it. So what is actually cool about it is you have out of the box an application, which is a simple greeting application, which is just generated on the fly with you. So it just creates a default message and produces default metrics here out of the box. So if we just run it, I will use JDK 17 to be completely sure that there's no overlapping with new features of JDK 19. So just run it, has all the tests, and works out of the box. So we just Java -jar. I have made an alias for that. So we just run, and you see it started. It's very fast. So your microservice may start extremely fast. And if we do curl on, what was that? Simple greet, I guess. Yeah, simple greet. Our service is up and running. And by the way, if I told you that there are some health checks and metrics, so we receive information about health out of the box, and metrics also out of the box. So as you generate, do it in MicroProfile way, it creates a POM file with exactly what you need: metrics, health checks, and here we even tracing with Jaeger we have chosen. So really as simple as that. If you want your application up and running, just go to helidon.io and it will create a MicroProfile application, which is working out of the box. And here it is. By the way, just to let you know, you can do it with Helidon CLI, which is a Helidon application which looks for your code and waits for changes, like hello auf Deutsch. And whenever there's a change, it compiles into you, and you can really nicely develop it in any IDE. By the way, even the cloud IDE. So I know that OCI, for example, now provides a way for you to have a cloud IDE. So you just run there, and it will take a look at the changes in your code, run it there, and you will enjoy everything like happening directly from this console. Highly recommended stuff, I would call it. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. But by the way, more details you can find in my previous talk on JCON. But now I really want to show you something else, which is called Helidon Reactive. And we call it, like, you know, danger zone, Helidon SE. As you see, it provides you the same components as in MP environment. So they're actually the same, but reactive. And even more of them, like DBClient and WebClient. I'll talk about it a little bit later. And it provides even better performance if you take a look at what happens. So if we remove all the magic, which is the standard layer around them, you will just get rid of a lot of, I would say, well, code that makes this magic happen. So you just remove it. You have a really, really performant code, both supporting native image, JLink image, and the JVM. And this is achieved by our own Helidon Reactive Engine. Actually, what makes Helidon quite unique is, unlike other framework, it has its own reactive engine, and it's based on the latest, I would call latest, but it actually comes from Java 9, Flow API. So from the very beginning, we're using, from, I would say not very beginning, from version 2 Helidon, we are using the standard Java Flow API, which came to us with Java 9. So it has a set of interfaces, and with subscriber, publisher, etc., etc. A lot of words were said about that, but it's, by the way, it's Java 19 that happened yesterday. From Java 9, we already have it, but we are using them. And that's why we have our own operators like multi and service for reactive operations. And as you see, if you want to make a reactive stream of reactive set of values and work them with reactively, you have multi for multiple values, and then you actually chain your operation over them, or single for single values. So it's like a container for a value, and you can work reactively with it. And there is a big set of operators. It's maybe not that big as the others, but I was always frustrated, like, from the quantity of reactive operators which other vendors provide. But we have this set, which is, I believe, the optimal set for working with in reactive way, well, for reactive engine. So we definitely have the flat map, the strength and via and limits and for each, of course, which allows you to work extensively with in reactive way. So as a result, you can have a chain of operations, so you can compose your operations this way. And we are quite happy that Helidon Reactive Engine is one of the best in class, I would say. So we have our competitors like SmallRye, Mutiny, It's always hard for me to say. Sorry for that. But we're quite good performance. So if you want to check this JMH, which our good colleague Daniel Ketch does, so please proceed to this URL. He's one of the guys who actually is responsible for that. By the way, you'll be surprised, but Helidon Reactive Engine is contributed by David Karnak himself, the inventor of Reactive, actually, world, the father of Reactive. He contributed here, so it's really pure and really awesome. And as a result, based on this Reactive Engine, we have created our own Reactive WebServer. So that means that everything that is made in Helidon SE is reactive, so even the web server. So it's quite easy. You just go there, start it, and wait for it to start. It will be nice to show you directly this demo, but we're short of time, and since we are a little bit short of time, I will show it with some other demo, which comes next. That means that even the web server itself is fully reactive. So as a next thing, the most, the main, how we say, consumer of reactive stuff is actually messaging itself. It's very natural for us to do messaging in reactive way. And here we come to this another standalone specification from MicroProfile I was talking about earlier, which is called MicroProfile reactive messages. So what is the main idea of it? So in a standardized way, convenient way to receive or send messages, it has an abstraction, and this abstraction actually allows us to use many messaging brokers underneath. So it supports back pressure. It has an acknowledgement mechanism. And it is designed as a reactive pipeline, make it easy to connect to reactive APIs. So once again, we have a set of connectors from this abstraction to really implementations of message brokers or message systems, like showed in this picture. So for example, you want to send a message, you have this MicroProfile reactive API, but underneath you have Kafka, ActiveMQ, or JMS, and it actually wraps your code underneath and sends the messages in a standard way to other service. What is good that this code is actually portable. That means that whenever you write and you move to another vendor, or for example, you come to Helidon from another vendor, you don't have to rewrite. You just put it there and it will work. So what are the main ideas? So just put one annotation, which is if you want to produce a message, which is outgoing, and say, for example, to which channel we want to do this. And we say, okay, we provide a publisher with a publisher builder with a stream, and say, okay, there's some messages. We can do it as a reactive stream of, or for example, we want to use flow adapters for Helidon. So it means that we can reuse our Helidon reactive engine. We can say multi of something, and this flow means that we just create a usual Java standard publisher, and it will be used for outgoing messages. It can be also flowable from RxJava, or it can be also Flux from Project Reactor, which is awesome. So you see, everything is very, very agile in terms of what you can use underneath. And you can even do it from imperative code. You don't need to make it like with annotations. You have an emitter and you can emit a message. So very, very, very fast. But as the message has come, you have to consume it. So that's why I put annotation, which is incoming from some queue. You receive it and you take it out of the queue and print it, for example. So just put annotation there, and it's very easy. So if you want to read about MicroProfile, messaging, just proceed to this links. The specification is already there, and we have a wonderful article on our official Medium about how to use them with Helidon MP. As you see, that's quite straightforward. But Helidon actually reused this for its own reactive messaging, which is based on the idea of MicroProfile messaging. So it is nice because as you have this reactive engine on board view, you can easily integrate it into reactive code directly without the magic from MicroProfile. So, and we have several abstractions which are made here, which is a channel, which is a pair of publisher and subscriber. And these channels are connected together, by processor, which is like a subscriber for upper publisher and publisher for the subscriber underneath. Which is awesome because this way you can create channels with publisher and subscribers in as you see in builder way. I will show it directly in the code. So as I told you, processor is a typical reactive processor acting as a subscriber for upstream and publisher for downstream. So you can easily transform the data in a reactive way by connecting to channels. So the idea of reactive messaging in Helidon that it uses the same concept as MicroProfile, but only following this no magic philosophy. So what is cool, once again, about Helidon, so by implementing MicroProfile, we're also implementing this this reactive way, and this reactive way is brings a lot of performance, and it's just following this another philosophy. So currently we have 3 connectors, like Kafka JMS and ActiveQ, and our socket will be, I hope, soon. I mean, it's a PR already for some time, and I think it will be ready because our socket itself is a very reactive messaging protocol, like it a lot. And let's have a look at the demo. Here in this demo, we will actually see some code which is pure Helidon SE with some messaging on board. So if you don't mind, I will just open IDM. And this idea, we will choose our Helidon MP examples. Here it's for our next stop, by the way. So we will just go to, for messaging, yes. And we will talk about, there's an application, you can play with it, which is an application which takes your message from, you submit a message, it takes you to Kafka's pipeline, and then it pushes you as a WebSocket to your page, which is quite good. And as you see, what is a typical Helidon SE application? It's just a main function with main class with main function, where you start a web server. And this web server is started in a single. As you see, whenever you start your service asynchronously, it will just create a web server. Started, and whenever the service is ready and running, you just print a message. For example, it starts serving your request. There's another flow, as you know, in React. You have to think a 3 flow. You have this data flow, you have this control flow, you have this exception flow. So you can gracefully handle exception if something goes wrong. And here, for example, we're saying that if something happens exceptionally, please print a stack trace, for example, and you just return the server. So it's really, really small. But for example, if we want to create a service for sending messages, well, main idea is that we implement this. This is the only thing you actually have to implement if you want, but by the way, it's not even mandatory. It's the service with only one function you override. So this is the only annotation, which is said that for this URL, like send message, there is a lambda which just emits a message. So we just receive directly in a lambda using emit to emit this message. And this emitter itself is exactly a channel with Kafka connector. So you have a channel to Kafka. You can create your configuration using resources here, for example. Where is it? So it's application YAML. So you say, okay, Kafka, this is the server running on that port. And using different serializers. So I'm not very much Kafka guy. So I completely trust Daniel Ketch that he did it great. So we just emit the message and to the Kafka connector, emit. So that's it. We emit the message we have received. And there is another endpoint, which is a WebSocket endpoint. So you just say that whenever it's opened, it connects to a Kafka and takes channel from Kafka. And this Kafka, he receives the messages and just pushes it to our web page. And that's it. So it's done via WebSocket. If you don't mind, I will run my Kafka right now. Okay. Oh, yeah, it has. I wonder why it's not been downloaded, but I have strong internet connection here. So I hope it will be really fast. So it's just, we'll run Kafka right now, build everything. And I really hope it will work fast. We still have some time, so we are on time. I wonder why it was not done. Maybe I have made a cleanup on my machine, so I'm a little bit sorry for that. And now, actually, as it's building, I will really need to make it run. So you see, moving to this code, it's just a main function. You can even run it from DD, which starts a web server for you. It creates it in a reactive way, and everything you do it reactive. Whenever you do emit a message, so you can use multis and singles here. And by the way, I like very much this idea that whenever you have to associate something with a URL, you just send a URL plus some path parameter, and it will just run it. I think it takes some more time than I expected, so sorry for that. Well, as it's built, I think I will continue with the slides. And as we are back, I really would like to show you how it works. Okay. Well, we will come back to this a little bit later. But main idea is that once reactive, you always have to be reactive, and that's why we have our DBClient, which is a way you to work with synchronous databases in asynchronous way. So it's a special wrapper which runs on and manages the database driver in a separate executable. And that's why, and it provides all the APIs for you to create your transaction in asynchronous way, and this way talking to a service in a synchronous way. So how is it? Oh, it is ready. Wonderful. So let us start the application. I will just put it here. I think it's already run. Jar minus jar target, and yes, extremely fast. That's always what I say about Helidon SE. It's so much fast. So now, for example, if you send a message, it will go through
So Dmitry has some problems with his connection. We are trying to fix that.
Hello? Oops.
Yes, now we can hear and see you again.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Okay, sorry for
Now
that.
we
There
see
may be
your
some,
screen.
maybe some connection issues. So once again, I'll be quite honest that we need some more time, but it's overlapped with not a lot of talk. So once again, as we say, we have DBClient, which is reactive, and WebClient, so you can actively consume services from other people, other services. And I have to a little bit push it faster. So we have cool integration. First of all, is of course with MicroStream, and there's going to be a talk about it a bit later today. Like next up, we get good integration with Verrazano and Coherence. So we form, like three of us form a good bundle with this project. And something which I like very much is that we are now, not even now, from a long time, we are integrated with Project Loom. As you know, earlier this year, this JAV2 for 45 was released, which introduced virtual threads to Java platform. And these virtual threads are technically API the same threads, but they are becoming quite a cheap resource for us. We have millions of threads with the same API as different threads. And JVM cares for them to be scheduled on real hardware threads, which is I would call it an expensive resource. So virtual threads gives us the possibility to make bulking applications react fast as reactive applications, non-blocking applications. So you can have this early access, but by the way, yesterday it was released with Java 19, which makes it really cool because there's already in Java 19, you will have virtual threads as an experimental feature. So it can have millions of them. It provides you a new API to create virtual threads. But for Helidon MP, which is cool, you only have to specify one or two options to enable them. Just say virtual threads equals true and virtual invoice, and it will use virtual threads as an executor for Helidon. There was a talk on previous JCON with demo about it by my good colleague, Thomas Lange. So just put them and it will work out of the box. So what is cool that you write your Helidon MP application and they behave with a performance which is close to Helidon SE, which makes this a really game changer. And because of that, there's another thing I want to introduce in this talk, and it's called Helidon Loom. So if you remember this talk, the slide with Netty and Helidon SE, technically we decided that if we have this blocking performance, we don't need any more anything reactive and Netty as a foundation for that. So this way, a fully new web framework or network framework was developed, and it's called Helidon Loom. So it's a Loom-based web server which provides support for HTTP 1 and 2, gRPC WebSocket, TLS and MTLS out of the box, and other protocols with coarse static content, open telemetry observability features. And it's all based on this new technologies, which are virtual thread, enhanced switches, sealed classes, system loader, everything which comes with the newest version of Java. And in the end, it provides a performance which is double or triple high than we have now. And it's all based on just a JVM without any specific code working on virtual machines. Netty uses some tweaks to have precompiled code. Here it just uses your JVM and achieves a massive performance, and sometimes it even outperforms Netty. So there will be a special talk for that by colleague Thomas Langer tomorrow. So I highly encourage you to take a look at it, and he will give you all the overview of this NEMA framework and how it performs. So I just scratch the surface here, and I can say that Helidon is already prepared for virtual threads. We had just been released, and we work tightly with the JVM team to make it really the best option for you. So if you want to read more about Helidon, we are now writing a book. So I'm really happy to be part of this team of 3 people with Daniel Katz and Dmitry Kornilov. We're writing this book. It's in MEP right now, but it will be full soon, I guess, till the end of the year. So if you're interested in Helidon and more details, just please have a look at this book. So once again, if you choose to live in MicroProfile world, so Helidon is definitely your choice. So you can find more information in a bunch of these talks, like in Helidon Twitter account. By the way, we now also have our LinkedIn account. I'll put it here. If you want to read like reads, you go to Medium and read our official blog. If you like videos, we have this Helidon project channel. And if you want questions, just Slack them to us, and we will answer them shortly. So if you want to choose MicroProfile, have MicroProfile Helidon MP. If you want to be fully reactive, because once again, Loom is still a preview feature and it will come at some point. But if you want to have massive performance in your production, you can choose Helidon SE, I showed you, with all the messaging stuff and all these different aspects. And you can enjoy massive performance with Fuse Java. So with this, I would like to thank you for being with me on this talk. If you have any questions, please write them. I think, I have one question. Actually, several questions. I think I will answer them. So the GitHub, I will, no, that was previous. Garrett, yeah. Yes, the configuration has its own properties. Yes, we need to create different. So actually, you can have different configurations for different endpoints and for different environments, and it's supported by MicroProfile that you can have different environments and have different configuration for them. So just in the spec, it's written. For the example project, by the way, whatever I use here is available as general examples of Helidon. So this is cool that you just go to the examples and just run them. So this is available out of, I would say, out of the box to you. So just go there and play with it. And basically, these are the questions, I guess. So I hope there are no more questions. And I say big thank you for being with me. And I think that in a few minutes, we're starting a new talk about different aspect of Helidon usage. Thank you.